the risk of love and what love is. In the normal way that we use the word love, it's usually relating to loving other people or things or animals or places. But I like to use the word love as another word for who I am, as another word for awareness, truth. Love is that unconditionally sees and knows it all just the way it is, that unconditionally meets whatever is here for this human just the way she is. And as that love, it is all okay to be here. It's all welcome. Nothing needs to be fixed or changed. It's all welcome to be the human mess. And part of that mess is our vulnerability. And that is the risk of love, of opening up to love in our living experience, in our human experience, showing ourselves as the vulnerability, as the not knowing how to be, and knowing ourselves to be that bigger love means that we can take that risk to show ourselves, to open our heart, to share our innermost feelings and fears and longings. We can more and more take that risk because there is a bigger sense of safety and holding in knowing ourselves to be that wider, unlimited, embracing that is love. And that also includes heartbreak, which is always going to be the other side of the coin of love and showing up and our vulnerability, showing up as our vulnerability in our lives. The other side of it is that whoever or whatever we love, we're bound to lose. Now, of course, as that bigger love that we are, nothing is ever lost. Right? It's all who I am. It's always here. Everything, everyone, not separate. And yet in our human experience, we love and we lose. And of course, this is terribly painful. And we have to go through it again and again. And this bigger love includes the heartbreak of losing love, knowing that nothing is ever really lost. And it takes courage to keep opening to love in our lived experience, especially when we have been hurt, when we have lost. It takes a lot of courage to keep showing up, to first of all feel into the love for this human. It's not only about loving the other, but it's also about loving this one. To acknowledge our vulnerability and then to show up in the world with others. And yet again, this courage to keep showing ourselves comes from this bigger love that is courage itself. So we don't have to try to be courageous or push ourselves to do anything. It's actually acknowledging that who I really am is always open-hearted. It never closes. It's always courageously open, willing to show up again and again and again, endlessly. And of course, the biggest risk in love is that when we expose ourselves, share what is in our hearts, when we get close to somebody else, it is also about losing control, losing a sense of me and separation, which on one hand can feel very isolating and lonely to hold on to, but at the same time, it is also a protection that can seem to keep us safe. So it can feel very challenging to really open up and merge and melt into the other, which is often what we long for, because we're afraid to lose this sense of me. In fact, to die into the other. And therefore actually to realize that there is no other. To lose all boundaries of separation that we have been holding on to desperately to protect ourselves. To risk losing it all. But then, of course, this is what we long for because it is what we are, right? The love that is beyond all separation. It's already who we are. So then when we live as if we are separate, as if we could protect ourselves, this feels so painful. This is who we are. Love itself. So it's not about doing or forcing yourself to open up. It's more about resonating with what I'm saying now. Recognizing for yourself what is true. And that's enough. If you know yourself to be love, not intellectually, but beyond these words, then this love does its own work. It has its own way of opening and opening and opening, of inviting this human experience to keep taking those little risks in our lives, to share what's in our hearts, or to expose some small piece of our vulnerability. So yeah, it's also about trusting the love that you are, falling back into that, surrendering to the love as it opens our hearts more and more.